Merry Meetle! Something a little different today. I really want to start sharing some of the things I do to try and keep sane, happy, healthy. Most importantly, sane and happy. And I've really been embracing the concept of the Danish ways of doing things, Hygge, or Hygge, how it's spelt, but it's pronounced Hygge. And it's basically the Danish way of being cozy. And it's perfect for long, cold winters. But I think overall, in a world that's so batshit crazy, I think it's one of the ways that you can really be content and happy no matter what's going on around you. And most important to me, it's off my European, family. There's nothing like the comfort of returning to your roots or holding your roots close to you. And the European family is a very close one. We all come from the same genetic disposition. So anyway, what I'm going to share today is I will do this in 2 recordings. So this is just a quick recording. I'm going to share a couple of tips. So this is basically Aussie damper. If you are skint and or you're trying to rein in your cash, or you just need some simple things in your life when it comes to food, etc. Pretty much damper in Australia was pretty much, the early settlers didn't have a lot of resources and everything. Is literally flour and water. The way I make mine is a little smidgen different, but not that much. I put a pinch of salt in there. Eyeballing this is just for one person. I put just over a cup of flour in there, just plain white flour or whatever flour you use. However, traditionally it's usually wheat flour. Just move my herbal tea over here. My little secret for making the dough really almost like cake is to put an eighth to a quarter of a cup of oil. I usually use sunflower. But you can use any other oil, but again, the consistency I get is with this. I also have a cup of warm water on hand, and I pour it straight onto the oil, which breaks it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be boiling water. I wouldn't recommend boiling water. And I usually pour about 2/3 of a cup of that cup in. The reason why I have a cup there is sometimes the flour is thirsty, if you know what I mean, so I need to put more, but otherwise, about 2/3 of a cup's fine. And basically from the center, this is my pizza whisk. I love this whisk. It's my favorite whisk. It prevents having to have more dough sticky hands than you have to. So right here I got a bit of a thirsty dough, so I'm just going to put a smidgen more. And you just keep working around the edges, bringing it in. So you don't want a cake dough. You want it to be almost a little crumbly like this. It doesn't have to be a solid dough. When you touch it, you'll feel that it's a perfect consistency, which I'll go into in a minute. And if it's not, you just add a little smidgen more water. Yeah, I've got a little more than a cup of flour in here. These are just my diaries. They're not edited or anything. And then basically clean hands. You just from the outside clump the dough together like that. Now this is a little tiny on the smidgen dry, but I will bring it in together. So basically the gluten in the flour is what helps it glue together, but if there's not enough water, it will crumble apart. So I just need a smidgen more, not much, but make sure you put it in the center. Whoops, should be right. And then like that. So it's like you're gluing it together. And you want a dough that's soft but not too squidgy. Mine's probably a little bit squidgy because I just put a little bit too much there. That's all right. I might be able to get this right. So for me, this is one of my little treats that I love. You should see what I do with it once it's cooked. I'll do that in the second recording. But in this recording, I wanted to show the beginning process, and also a little tip on increasing your fluid intake every day, especially if you're not a big water drinker and you're into herbalism, or using herbs to help you in whatever stage of life or whatever time of the year it is. As you know, different times of the year your body needs different things. You know, there's less sunlight in the colder months. There's more sunlight in the warmer months. It's hotter. You tend to get hotter. In the winter you tend to get colder. So just things like that. Herbs can help you make that balance in order to just get through. So basically you can mold your damper into whatever shape you want. I don't know why, but I tend to like this oval sort of teardrop shape. And when you have the dough consistently, you have zero, like perfect dough consistency, you have zero of this on your hands. For me, I'm a little smidgen on the wet side. That's okay. So it's concentrate. So all you have to do is rub your hands together like that. Hence why you want your hands to be clean at the beginning. You don't want to be, that would be awful. Yeah, anyway. So almost like a French stick. I like that sort of shape. And the thing is, with damper, you don't need to put baking powder or anything like that, or yeast to make it rise. It's a very doughy, heavy bread, but the oil is a trick to making it lighter. So it's still doughy, but it's almost like a pudding, a savoury pudding. You could switch out the salt, or keep the salt in there, and put in sugar if you wanted to, but there's really no need. I don't think so anyway. It's nice to have it neutral. And what you do with it afterwards. And then I don't know why, I just like doing this. 3 strokes across. And then on my my pizza tray, which has been coated with some oil, pop it in the center. And the oven is about halfway or moderate, and I pop it in the oven. For me, for that size, it's generally around half an hour. You want, basically when the edges are a little toasted brown, golden, and you look, don't go washing your hands straight away. All you need to do is rub any of the dough if you do have dough on you. Usually when I do this, it's perfect, but of course I'm recording, so it's going to go batshit crazy. I don't have any dough on my hands because I get the consistency just right. How important concentration is, huh? Even though I eyeball things, I probably put a little too much. So anyway, you end up exfoliating your hands when you do this, but it's good. It's all good. Look at all the cuts and scrapes I've got from bird keeping. Crazy, huh? Anyone would look at me and go, oh gosh, she cuts herself. No, I'm a bird mama. I train my birds. And now my cat's driving me crazy. She wants to be part of the action as well. What are you doing, Sha? Oh, can you hear that? The other thing too is any little bits like that you can put straight in the compost. I'm just going to empty out the rest of that water and do that. This bowl is relatively plain. I don't actually wash this bowl. This is my favourite bread making, damper making bowl. I literally just, like that, and I just rub off any dough on my pizza sift, and I put it in the cupboard where I know no bug. And look, at night you don't know what's going on in your kitchen. I don't like anything on my counters because I don't trust any bugs or anything like that to be crawling over my stuff. So I basically go like that and put this in my cupboard, and then I use it the next day. Just going to do that now. Sha, get off the table. What do you think you're doing? Miss Fox, you naughty cat. Cat's mad. So basically, look, at the end of the day, all my ducks are in their beds. They've had their bath, they've had their cuddles, they're in their bed. I've done, pretty much there's no dishes. I've cleaned the bathroom after the ducks. I've got my bedroom ready. I've got my tracky dacks on. I'm unwound for the day. One of the things I like to do is under candlelight, I'll make myself some damper. And that serve there that I just made, I'll cut half, I'll eat half, and then I'll leave the half in the morning for a quick breakfast after I've taken my ducks outside and cleaned their runs and everything like that. And, you know, it's, for me, it's a little bit of Hygge, or Hygge, or Hygge, however people want to say it, but it's Hygge. But I say Hygge because people probably can, you know, I don't know, relate to that, more, understand that more if they're reading the word Hygge, you know. They're going to probably pronounce it like that if they're English speaking. But anyway, Hygge. So I pretty much use candles, and I've made a sort of like a commitment to myself that at night all the lights are pretty much off, and except for the monitor in the office, because I might be doing a little bit of work on the computer still while the ducks are going to sleep slowly. I'll have the TV in the bedroom with a asmiron of a fireplace. My cat's in there snoozing in front of it as though it was a real fire going. It's so cute. And then I'll light three tea light candles. I'll have one in the kitchen. I'll light one up and put it in the bedroom. I'll light another one up and put it in the bathroom. And pretty much I'll let them burn all night, and they stop at the perfect time. It also looks like someone's still up, anyone walking past. But it's, you know, usually I leave a light on all night in the back here, but instead of doing that, I'll leave 3 candles burning. And the 3 is a very important symbolism in Gaelic culture, or Celtic culture. And that's a little commitment of Hygge, or Hygge. And basically I'll sit there here and have my warm damper with the candlelight going and a pure hot cocoa. But I might do a recording at night with that little situation so I can share some of my Hygge with you. And no matter what's happened in the day, that little tiny routine of 3 candles, warm damper, and a hot drink while everyone's snoozing and, you know, winding down for the night, that just brings a sense of happiness and coziness and peace to me. And I think, again, it's important for that sort of thing. Anyway, but the other tip I wanted to share, if you're not a big water drinker and you need to bring up your fluids, is to have a herbal tea. This is a 1 litre mug. Isn't that flippin' awesome? The beauty of this, and I've dropped some flour in it, oops. The beauty of this is basically, when you drink it all, you know you've had a litre of fluids. Just make sure it's not a diuretic herbal tea or a herbal tea with caffeine in it. This is just chamomile, which is good for me. I've recently stopped drinking coffee because I was using it too much to keep up, because the neighbours next door were keeping me up all night thumping and bumping. Not because they're having fun in the bedroom, like literally just banging on the walls, like feral. I never want to go to Tasmania. I'm sorry if you know someone from Tasmania and they're cool, but that's the second neighbour I've had in a row that's from Tasmania, and it's like they're absolute feral, like, no, I'm not going there. That's for sure. But you know, I was using coffee to keep up too much, and my right eye was starting to flicker, and combined with the fact that it's cold and I've had the heater going, so my eyes have been dry. So, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I need to start looking after my health a little bit here. So I removed the caffeine, and I probably have a little bit of caffeine when I have my hot cocoa at night, but that's about it. And it has really helped. It's helped me not to lose my cool so quickly. I still have a shocking temper, but I'm not so much on the edge all the time. I do love coffee. I will have coffee still, but I need to get on top of my sleeping patterns and managing, you know, the shit noise coming from next door. And, you know, but so for now, this is my routine. And I'll probably have a coffee again in the morning, mid-morning after I've eaten and that. Because the other thing I would do too is I literally sometimes don't eat until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like now, today, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I still haven't eaten anything. Like I've just got distracted with a phone call, distracted with an email, and then after taking all the birds out, cleaning their runs, and it's like, oh my God, I haven't even eaten yet. So I didn't have any damper left from last night, so this is why I don't have any damper in the morning. And I woke up really late today. Last night was the first time there was no noise coming from next door, and I slept all the way through to 10 a.m. That's how freaking tired I was. But anyway, we are where we are. So I was starting to use coffee as a habit of sort of filling me up and getting me going without food in the morning, which is such a bad habit. As an ex-personal trainer, I should kick myself in the ass hard for that sort of shit. But anyway, it was a habit I got into, so not anymore. So I got to do this, because if I'm not healthy, happy and functioning well, then my ability to help others, especially my animals, is limited. And if something happens to me, who else is going to look after my babies? Especially the way I do, or give them their cuddles, So, I've got to do it. So anyway, so if you want a tip for getting your fluid intake up, and you're not a big water drinker, and it's cold as well. No, in winter it's harder to get through drinking a lot of cold water, you know what I mean? Is to have warm herbal teas and get yourself a 1 litre mug and top it up and drink it all. And if you drink 2 of those a day, nondiuretic and not caffeinated, then you will have 2 litres of fluids in your system with a little bit of a botanical benefit within the herbal tea that you're drinking. And that is my tip. So that is how I prepare my damper. And this is my drinking water tip, along with my 3 candles I like to do. And one night I'll record my 3 candles through night. The problem is when you record at night, even though you can see, the image on the camera becomes a lot less. You know what I mean? So you can see a certain degree with the candles on, but the camera for some reason makes it look a lot darker. So I don't know if it's something I'm doing. It's only a little tiny, snap and pick camera. It's not a fancy one. So I know I might need to just add a few more candles of lighting to do that, just for the mood. But I aim to do that at night sometime, and also, share my journey with doing Hygge and what it has brought to me. And, I'm very happy that it's helped me so much. Anyway, blessed be merry part. I hope you're all well, and give it a crack, the damper, if you've never tried it before. You don't need to have fancy bread. You can make your own, and it can be simple. Often the simple things are the nicest things. You know what I mean? You don't need a bread maker, and just flour and water, but I like a bit of oil in there just to give it a little bit of more of a pudding sort of texture. It helps it bind a little bit more softer as well. I do the same thing with my pizza dough, and a pinch of salt. Someone's laying an egg. Anyway, blessed be merry part. I hope you're all keeping sane and safe eventually. Bye for now.